Hello and welcome to welcome to Wine and Reason. I'm sorry, I was startled because the moment I hit go live, I saw all of your faces pop up in the chat. Before that, I was like, oh, it's just me and Amiga Nuts. That's cool. But yeah. Hi Paul. Hi Never Again. Hi Ricardo. Hi Junk Shop. My darling over there. Hi Godless Sewing. And Amiga Nuts, of course. Okay, so I just got a text message from my friend Drew, and sadly, he can't make it, but he has a very good reason. Maintenance men finally showed up at his apartment to patch some rather large holes in the ceiling. So he's dealing with that, and apparently it's very noisy. Hey, Nerdy. Hey, Mark. Apparently it's very noisy at Drew's place, so that's why. And also, it kind of worked out because we both wanted to do a little more research anyway. I mean, we could crack jokes about it, but we did want to do a little more research before, and give you some actual facts and shit, like I try to do most of the time. So the topic has changed a little bit. It's changed now to something that Math Pig mentioned while I was on Dave's Critical Questions today. It's something that happened during the Nixon administration. Shocker. How Pepsi, and yeah, that is Pepsi Cola, the one that's too sweet. It's not Coca-Cola. It's the bad one. Anyway, I know it's a very personal decision, but yep. I don't even drink soda anymore. I'm still like, no, Coke's better. But how Pepsi briefly became the 6th largest military in the world, which is so freaking bizarre. But yeah, apparently this actually happened. I am looking at business.com's website, and it's just, this is weird. And I'm thinking about the person who had the staff writer who had to write the byline, right? Because I don't see a specific author's name. They're showing then Vice President Richard Nixon right with Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev. Some of you remember Khrushchev, the banging a shoe. I think he was that guy banging a shoe on the podium. Yeah, so they start, the reason I think this must have been a bit weird for the staff writer is because the article begins with almost everyone in the world has a favorite soda that they enjoy whenever they get the opportunity. It's like, really? This is it. So it starts off like, like a college freshman essay you don't want to read a little bit. I really shouldn't say that because I'm not getting paid to write right now. So I should probably be a little less critical of someone who is. It's not as bad as the dictionary defines blank as blank, but it's a weak start. I'm not going to call that a strong opener, but it gets better. It gets better. That's just the first sentence. But is your favorite tasty drink worth giving up a military arsenal big enough to stock a whole country? Well, at one point in history, the Russians thought so. So I will say that the last line of that introduction is a good grabber. It is. I think there's some fluff above it that could be knocked out, but that's a good, yeah. 1959, then President Dwight Eisenhower wanted to bring our American our American culture to citizens of the Soviet Union and show them the benefits of capitalism. And yeah, I am straight reading this article to you because it's so bizarre. And of course, I don't know what's more American than soda, apple pie. I have no idea. It's Native Americans. They're not a commodity. That would be wrong. And they kind of were at one point, but anyway, I just find it weird that they picked a soda to showcase ideology, because that's what the article says. To showcase their ideologies, the American government arranged the quote American National Exhibition in Moscow and sent then Vice President Richard Nixon to attend the opening, but things were about to take a turn for the worse. Well, maybe because they sent Nixon, but I don't know. Let's keep reading. Nixon and Soviet leader Khrushchev got into an argument over the topic of capitalism versus communism. Really? Shocker. I'm just so shocked that the leaders from the two major superpowers at the time, two of the major superpowers at the time, one being communist, one being capitalist, got into an argument over these two ideologies. Yeah. This article practically wrote itself. Okay. Nixon and yep, they got okay. Their conversation got so heated that I'm sorry, I'm trying. Nixon was Nixon was awful. I mean, Trump's worse, but Nixon was a terrible person. If you've listened, if you've heard any of the tapes that have come out from all he was so paranoid at the end. He was recording everything, and he's he was a piece of work, and not in the good way that Shakespeare meant, but in the very bad way that we tend to use that phrase now. Okay, so freaking racist piece of garbage Nixon and Soviet leader Khrushchev got into an argument over the topic of capitalism versus communism, and their conversation got so heated that the vice president of Pepsi, the vice president of the corporation Pepsi, intervened and offered the Soviet leader a cup of his delicious sugary beverage, and Khrushchev drank it. Okay, well, I'm glad the Cold War didn't end in a hot war because a guy with a sugary beverage was there. But how weird is this? And how did I never know this? Hang on, I'm going to pop back over and look at the chat for a minute. Did any of you know about this? No, it's not just coffee at this point, Mark Caesar. I'm back to my wine, which is nice. We had to run an errand earlier, so it was too early to have a drink, but now it's okay. Not going out, not driving again. So, but yeah, what is happening? Thing to do. Yes, and my darling spouse just put a great song in my just put a Sting song in my head that's not going to go away for the rest of the night. Thank you, honey. I'm told I should blame Mark. This is Mark Caesar's fault. Okay. Oh yeah, Mr. Khrushchev said we will bury you. Yeah, I don't subscribe to. Oh, okay, nope, I'm stopping right there. Anyway. Thank you, Dr. Osiris. All right, so possible conflict. I mean, we don't know that if the vice president of Pepsi Cola hadn't been there and offered some sugary beverage for the good of the of peace and in the world, we don't know that things would have devolved into full-on nuclear warfare. We can't know that, but it is an interesting hyperbolic thought experiment, I think. Okay, so years later, the people of the Soviet Union wanted to strike a deal that would bring Pepsi products to their country permanently. However, there was an issue. I'm reading the article again. There was an issue of how they would pay for their newest beverage, as their money wasn't accepted throughout the world. And that is actually a very good point. I'm gonna put the link to this in the chat so that y'all have access to it too, because none of the links that are in the description have anything to do with what we're talking about now, because like I said, last minute cancellation, last minute topic change. So there you go. Hey, Mom Atheist, thank you for showing up. Thank you for being in the chat. All right, so yeah, and that's a fair point, So what were they? Yeah, you weren't going to have rubles spending in the States. So the clever country decided to buy Pepsi using a universal currency, vodka. This is amazing. It just keeps getting better. I'm like, okay, so no, don't do a Russian accent, Julie. You will mess that up. Okay, no, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I wish I could. But I just imagine the meeting. Just let me paint a word picture for you. Imagine the meeting. You've got some very serious top social officials, and they're sitting at a table in a boardroom looking type meeting. And one of them is just, I am so thirsty and I'm so tired of water. Do you remember when Nixon was here and he had that soda and someone else is like, yeah, I do. I do remember when Nixon was here and they had that Pepsi and it was so good. And really? Pepsi. Yes, it was so good. And we need that. We need that in our lives. The great, our comrades suffer enough. They need something. They need a boost. Let's do this. But how will we pay for it? Well, money? No. Vodka. We'll pay for it in vodka. Americans love to drink. This will be great. And then can you imagine the call? I would love to be a fly on the wall for that phone call to the White House. Okay, so in the late 1980s, Russia's initial agreement to serve Pepsi in their country was about to expire, but this time their vodka wasn't going to cover the cost. Oh my gosh, I didn't see that coming. Did you all see that twist coming? Because I did not. Wow. I mean, real Russian vodka is amazing. I would think it would be worth far more than Pepsi, but okay. So, sorry, Pepsi, but seriously. So the Russians did what any country would do in desperate times. They traded Pepsi, the corporation, the company, a fleet of submarines and boats for a whole lot of soda. That's a direct quote, a whole lot of soda. I want to know exactly how much soda buys you 17 submarines, a cruiser, a frigate, and a destroyer. Oh my God. And they just traded it. The people against capitalism more than anyone has ever been against capitalism, except maybe the Khmer Rouge. And they're like, they go straight, not to the US government, they go straight to the company and they're like, hey, we know our vodka is not worth all the Pepsi we want. How about 17 submarines, a cruiser, a frigate, and a destroyer? And we get the Pepsi that we want. It'll be a lot of Pepsi. That's what we want. The combined fleet was traded for $3 billion worth of Pepsi. And that was in the late 1980s. $3 billion worth of sugar water and bubbles. Oh my God. Okay. Wow. So really, maybe Sting should have sung like, as the Russians love their Pepsi too. That might have been okay. Wow. So the historical exchange caused Pepsi to become the sixth most powerful military in the world for a moment before they sold the fleet to a Swedish company for scrap recycling. And of course, the Swedes recycle it. That makes no sense whatsoever, and yet so much sense all at the same time. That is so bizarre. So if you want to check this out, there's a Not Exactly Normal is the YouTube channel, and they have a video with the complete story and some cool footage and stuff. Like I said, I put the link in the chat. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is from We Are the Mighty. They wrote it in 2018. It's their yeah. That is amazing. And one of the weirdest things I've ever heard in my adult life. And it is apparently, as near as I can tell, historically accurate. Wow. Hey, Purple Rhymes with Orange. We're just the junk shop. Yeah, hang on. Agreed. And I think it's because, okay. Yeah, how has the movie not been made of the $3 billion Pepsi fleet? Oh gosh, it would be so good and it would be so funny and so human. I think maybe they just haven't found a writer good enough to write that screenplay yet, or they figure nobody will believe it. Because that's really one of those truth is stranger than, oh, hey, Purple. Truth is stranger than fiction moments. Hey, Santi. Oh my gosh. Yeah, right? No, it's incredibly weird. I agree. And that's why when MathPig did the link, I was like, I have to see this for myself because I just don't know. Oh my goodness. Did Pepsi have to provide a crew? I don't know. I don't know, Dave. I only had access to the one article that I could find. I need to, and then it was time, as you know, it was time for the thing to start. So I ran out of time before I could research further. That's a good question. Let's find out. I'm trying to. This is so inane. I'm trying to come to grips with the fact that at one point a global superpower wanted a soda so much they did $3 billion worth of high tech military grade um, seaworthy vessels to trade for it. That just I need to know exactly how much Pepsi. I know it was 3 billion. They said $3 billion worth, but I'm like, I need to know. How much Pepsi is that in the late 1980s? Is it like a sea of Pepsi? Wow. Mm. Now there is a good question, actually, because if you were alive in the late 80s and old enough to be, I don't know if everyone did this, but my family, it was a big deal. My parents, this is not exactly before the 24-hour news cycle, but it was before the news was on just all the freaking time. Like there were morning news shows that were light and lighthearted, and then there was the occasional like we're breaking in on your regularly scheduled programming because there's a tornado or something. And then but there was always the nightly news. And it came on twice. It came on at like 5 and then again at 11. So and that's where you got your news for the day. So I don't know if they were nuclear subs, but that seriously, yeah, the fact that they were then sold for scrap metal is a little bizarre. I would doubt it. Just thinking that, given the Cold War and the tensions at the time, I would doubt that Russia would give that the USSR rather would have given nuclear subs to a company based in the USA. I would doubt that very much. But I don't know. Apparently, they really wanted some freaking Pepsi. I wouldn't have thought they would have given them, you know, a frigate and a destroyer either. So I'm just, I have no idea. Oh, cool. Okay, Mama Atheist found a link to the something to the video. Thank you, Mama Atheist, for that. Thank you. Yeah, so we'll have to check that out here in a minute. But that's crazy. Okay, where was I? I got off on a tangent about that. I was going somewhere before that. All of it? All right. Hang on. All of it? No, that's not right. I don't know how much Pepsi that would be. That sounds right. I know. Yeah, all of it at that point in time. Oh, I remember where I was going. I'm sorry. So my family, like, we would watch the news, and kids, parents, age didn't matter. We all watched the news together. It was like an important thing. And if you were really young and playing with a toy on the floor or something, as long as you were being quiet, nobody cared. But generally speaking, that like we were raised to, you know, to be aware of what was going on in the world around us. And I always, it's one of those things you don't appreciate until you're an adult, or at least I didn't. But I look back on that and I'm like, I'm so glad that we did that. That was really cool, And then we'd have dinner, and then various bedtimes. But then at some point, once you got past a certain age, you were old enough to stay up and watch the 11 o'clock news if you wanted to do that, too. So anyway, oh, it's okay, Mama Atheist. We know you got post-surgical head. Don't worry about it. If it's the wrong video, it's no big deal. You just get better and enjoy and don't be in pain. I was about to say enjoy the pain meds, but it's not fun. Yeah, they're not. When they're stopping horrible pain, it's just like, okay, no, I just need this. It's not. Yeah. It's not like eating a nice special brownie or anything, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so we would do that. And so, you know, being an anxious child anyway, and someone who would grow up to have two anxiety disorders, which I don't think the news contributed to it. It's just I think I had this from the beginning. Um, I was very aware of the Cold War, and and even as it was ending, when I was a little girl, and I was terrified of nuclear war with the USSR, and I was terrified of lots of other things too. I remember being terrified of Gaddafi, and I remember watching Comic Relief one year, and Robin Williams was making jokes about Gaddafi, and I like grabbed my brother's arm, and I was like, I don't want Robin Williams to be shot, because in my mind, like, you calling Gaddafi out for being a dictator, like, could have somehow hurt Robin. He was fine. Robin Williams was in the States. It was fine. Yeah. So it's just, yeah, I was hyper aware of all of that stuff. How did this Pepsi, being the sixth largest navy in the world story, never end up on my family's television? That's what I want to know. Did they think, no, they'll never believe it? Did Pepsi keep it under wraps? I mean, the government surely had to have known about it at some point. Did they? Or didn't they? I don't know. I'm not a corporate lawyer. This is amazing. What would they have done? I just can't. Oh, yeah, they're here. Yes, Junk Shop is here. If you hear any chuckling in the background, that's that person. I'm hoping I've made some people chuckle, because that's a really funny story, and I enjoyed telling it. Alrighty, so yeah, I was going to talk about some misconceptions concerning social safety nets, which we don't have enough of in the U.S. And I can talk about one without my friend Drew, but I really want him here for the majority of this discussion. The misconception you hear in the U.S. are that people are on welfare because they want to be, or because they don't want to work, and like a type 2 diabetes campaign. I don't know, my friend. I have no idea. I know that I think I know that in the 80s there seemed to be a Russian obsession among younger people in the USSR with American culture. They liked our music, they liked our blue jeans, stuff like it. It's almost a cliche at this point to talk about it. And I don't want to mischaracterize, but yeah, kill them with soft drinks. I have no idea. Ugh. Yeah. So that's kind of the stuff that Drew and I were going to discuss, because people that say things like that say that people want to be on welfare because they're lazy, or that people get food stamps because they don't want to work hard enough, because they aren't willing to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. By the way, do they even make bootstraps anymore? I don't think I can picture a bootstrap. If anyone knows what that, I need to Google that later. Yeah, that basically in the United States, the one of the ideals of capitalism is that if you give people a public education, everybody has a shot, right? Everybody has a shot at a decent life. And actually, my generation was the first one where we had our because it was kind of a big deal, where people, analysts and economists and even our own teachers, people all over the country were saying, you're going to be the first generation of Americans to not do as well as your parents. And that was, and they were like, it is what it is. Like things have changed. Yeah, here we go. Thank you, Lone Wanderer. Yeah, it's so fucking glamorous trying to make share your 16 ounces of cereal when they only sell it in 12 ounces. Yeah. It, yeah, it's horrible. And the other awful thing is now this was pre COVID-19, obviously, but you used to have to go down to the office and show them all of your personal information, your financial information, uh, where everyone in the household was working, who wasn't, why and why not. And a lot of my friends who started their families young absolutely had to do this because um, children are expensive, and formula is expensive, and baby food and diapers are expensive. So they all needed, at the very least, they all needed food stamps, which are the EBT or SNAP cards now. And all of them would tell me the same thing. They'd say, I had to make my monthly visit to the office to get our EBT card. And I was like, how you doing? Like, oh, they made me feel like human garbage for an hour, but I got my card. So the kids can eat this month. That's the important thing. But yeah, we have this way in the US of basically blaming poverty on people in poverty. We never blame people who aren't in poverty for it. It's always like, you're poor because you probably deserve to be, because you're probably lazy or stupid, or you didn't, I don't know, we gave you a shot. Best country in the world, you should be able to make something of yourself. And there are a myriad of reasons why that would not work out for everyone. So it's unfortunate and it's obnoxious. Yeah, thank you. And I'm sorry if I'm missing good comments. I'm gonna look. Mama Atheist, yeah, the class system in this country is pretty fucked up. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. And you get treated better by, depending on, it's kind of reminiscent of what I imagine it's like, or at least what television and movies have taught me it was like historically in the UK, where if you speak a certain way, if you look a certain way, if I go into like anytime I've had to go to court, like car accident, getting my divorce, whatever, anytime I've had to go to court, I wear long sleeves. I cover up my tattoos. I put my hair back. I actually put on a little makeup, like not the heavy eyeliner that I tend to wear here, but like, makeup that you're not really supposed to notice that it's makeup, but it also shows that you made an effort to look professional. And then I use my absolute best English possible. I do not use slang. I only answer questions that are directed to me. I do not add anything. There's a way you act. And because I'm white, I can pull that, I can play white suburban girl very easily. It's not hard. What's unfortunate is when, people are looked down upon because they show up at court and they don't have nice clothes they can put on for that, because they don't own nice clothes, or it becomes a racial issue where the judge or whoever is looking at them differently because they're black or brown, and that's horrible. Yeah, I'm not going to go on. We'll touch on that later too. So yeah, it's just how do we get away from the Pepsi thing? Oh, because we started talking about the class system. Yeah. So basically, if you can sound educated, and you can dress well without dressing up too much, like that middle road, kind of thing. Like pretty much what you think of when you think of white people at an office or something. Then you're going to be treated better by any authority figure in our society most of the time. And that is wrong. And that's the privilege there. right? That's the inherent privilege that I've certainly benefited from. Okay. Oh, hey, let's see what Purple says. It used to be when the workers produced more, they got a bit of the extra profit. Yes. Now it is only the top executives that get anything when profits increase. Also undermines motivation for workers. That's true. Although I will say the company that I worked for most recently, before before the plague, I did get a bonus every year, and it was absolutely merit based. It was based on what I produced, and it was nice because it is. They always did it around Christmas time, so they didn't call it a Christmas bonus, but that's what it ended up being for me. Like, can tell the nieces and nephews who got their Christmas presents. It wasn't me. It was the company I worked for. I mean, I picked them out. But, yeah. So yeah, to the more educated people drink Coke or Pepsi. That is, I don't think it matters. It's completely subjective, Mark Caesar. I prefer Coke, but my stomach doesn't like it when I drink soda anymore. So I don't drink soda anymore. That's it. All right. Hang on. My back is trying to do something unfortunate. Okay. So, yeah. So they're just to touch on that, and then, but still, Pepsi having the sixth largest navy in the world for a minute. That's just so freaking crazy. And yeah, I have to agree. Okay. Again, it's completely subjective, but I do have to agree. Coke is better. Pepsi is too sweet. I don't like it. Oh, okay. So people are talking about different kinds of jobs. Let's see. Santi, one of the things about construction is they don't bother you on what you wear, and I get my tattoos and enjoy the sun at work. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You don't have to hide your tattoos. So it's really cool. And I doubt you have to go to a gym much because you're already burning all the calories working. I've been self-employed most of my life, says Purple Rhymes with Orange. Always a struggle, but at least I know I profit from my own skills and creativity. That is really cool, man. That is super cool. And anyone who can do that, especially now, like should, because it's rough out there. I got to tell you, I've been job hunting. Most of you know this, since July, and I've sent out a lot of applications, and I've only heard back on two. One was, sorry, this position has been filled, but thank you for your time, which sucked, but it was nice to know that I didn't have to think about that one anymore. And then the other one just was today, and it was just an automated response of, we got your application. Thank you. We'll let you know. Yeah, I agree. Pepsi tastes like sugar water. It's very syrupy. But it's very big in northern Kentucky. So I have a lot of family members who are way into Pepsi and won't drink Coke. They don't like it. It's weird. Okay. I prefer, Sandy the Sand says, I prefer dollar store cola flavored water. Yeah, that's fair. Because, I mean, really. Oh, okay. So we had that. I'm tempted to start a whole like news of the weird segment at some point and just add it in, because both times today when I've tried to talk about one thing, it's either my own anxiety derailed it with what happened earlier, or just last minute changes derailed it. So would y'all be interested in something like that? I just found like I can do a serious news thing, and then I could do a silly, ridiculous news thing. I refuse to be known as an old fart, Mark Caesar. I'm not ready for that label. I may never be ready for that label. Oh, yeses. Okay, yeses are happening. All right, cool. I'll do it. All right. I will find some news. And by the way, I'm borrowing. I'm not plagiarizing. I need to cite my source here. News of the Weird is a section in the Memphis Flyer, which if you ever come here, it's free. The Memphis Flyer is free. It's a very common. If you want to help out some street kids by giving them a couple bucks for it, sure, you're a good person. Good for you. But that's a very common scam that happens around the touristy areas, like around Graceland and stuff. Is somebody will come up to sell you a Memphis Flyer, and it says right on the front page that Memphis Flyer free, always has been, something like that. So yeah, but they have a section called News of the Weird, and they just find hilarious and bizarre news stories from all over. Wine and Weird News. That might be a more apt name for my channel, honestly, since I fall into news stories so much. I didn't know I'd be doing that. When I started, I thought I'd be just sort of bitching into the void more. Nice. Nice, Lone Wanderer. That is amazing. Yes, I agree. Ooh, that means I'm 6 years younger than I am. Okay, cool. I shouldn't say things like that. All right. What can I say? The women in my family like younger dudes. Not too young, that's gross, but slightly younger. Younger people, slightly younger people for me. All right. Well, yeah. Oh, this is great. Yeah, well, old will always be defined as 5 years more than my current age. Fair. Fair. I dig it. Let's all go with that. Yeah. A couple of good philosophies on age in here that I like. And it really is true. The cliche is true. It is just a number in so many ways. But then in other ways it's not. It's like I'm about to cut this stream way shorter than I intended because my back hurts. And it hurts because I need to get up and move around and then sit in a different in something that is not this computer chair. So, and that is definitely an age thing. Yeah, I think I'm older than you. I think so, which is fine. I am so far enjoying my 40s. I'll let you know if it gets bad, but thus far I'm enjoying it. Oh, mommy, your back is. I bet it is. You just had surgery on your back. I love you. Oh, the Lone Wanderer. Yes, age does matter when the cops show up, and it should matter to your conscience. There shouldn't be a need for the cops to show up. No, Lone Wanderer is joking, but oh my gosh. Sorry, I just felt the need to CMA there a little bit. Oh, you're 56. Oh, that's nothing. We could be siblings. That's fine. Nerdy. Okay. I am. Oh, yep. I'm going to have to wind this one up, guys. I'm sorry it was super short. I'm sorry my guest had to bail. But Drew promised me that next week he'll be here, and we will talk about all the things wrong with the social safety nets in the U.S. And it varies a lot from state to state, so it won't be comprehensive because there are 50 of those. Obviously, you're going to get better social safety nets in more liberal states, fewer social safety nets in more conservative states, because that's how our government works. If states tend to go red for Republicans in elections, they're going to be those are more conservative. If they tend to go blue, they're more progressive, and they tend to vote Democrat. I am not pulling that up on screen, but it's fantastic. Um, oh, this is useful. That's a good idea. I don't think that setup will work in my house, but here's a thought from Purple on how to keep your back from hurting when you're on the computer all day. Good call. Yeah. This is my third stream today, so normally this wouldn't be a problem, but I don't usually do 3 in a day. And Critical Cripple is like, ha! Yo, like I'm sure you're thinking wuss in your head right now, Dave, because I know you're on the computer like all the time. And by the way, Dave is not in his 60s. Dave is younger than I am. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Y'all can figure it out. Very well. As much as I love where your minds are at, kids, I got to take off. But thank you all for being so awesome here and earlier when I was trying really hard not to say, "Oh my gosh, our country is doing eugenics." Like that's what I was trying not to say, but and it just kind of it made it difficult to get anything concrete out about that. This is and and remembering that these are thus far allegations. Hey, Miss Shadow Kitty, just in time for me to shut it down. Okay, now everyone go watch my Dark Matter video. Yes, ma'am. I've been waiting to watch this. I'm very excited. So, oh, Amanda's probably not going to love that I called her ma'am just then. I'm sorry. I know that's not your favorite moniker. Thank you. Thank you, Mama Atheist. Yeah, everybody go watch Mama Atheist video with Dark Matter. That's going to be amazing. I have no doubt. So let's check it out. Also, Dave, do you have the link to that? Critical Cripple, Dave? Julie, do what Mark said. Get a yoga ball to sit on. Yeah, I need to. I honestly have thought about it. Because, like, sitting at a desk at the office, like, I have the same problem. And, they'd get the ergonomic chairs and all that, but it just never. I fell down some stairs when I was a kid and injured my back, and it's just never been great since then. So, thank you, Dave. All right, we got the link. And Mama's link is nope, it's the same. Okay, for a second I thought hers was different, so I was confused. But all right, here we go. So she's got the link. Dave's got the link. Let's all go watch Mama Atheist and Dark Matters video. So. Remember, you can't find truth in wine, but you might find it in reason. Love from Memphis, y'all. We'll see you later.